Alright, let's get real for a sec. How many of you out there feel like you're constantly drowning in tasks? Always busy, always working. But at the end of the day, or even the end of the week, you look back and think, what the actual heck did I even do? Yeah, I see those hands. Don't pretend you don't, because honestly, for the longest time, that was me. I was caught in this vicious cycle of chasing my tail, feeling overwhelmed, and frankly, just plain exhausted. Everyone talks about hustle culture and grind and all that jazz, but let me tell you, if you're hustling inefficiently, you're just hustling yourself into an early grave or at the very least a serious case of burnout. Now, a lot of people ask me, dude, how do you manage to get so much done? How do you run multiple businesses, create content, and still have time to, live a little? And my answer, it always surprises them because it is not some fancy new app or some secret millionaire hack. It is actually incredibly simple, almost annoyingly. So, the true key to productivity, my friends, is not about doing more, it is about minimizing. Yep, you heard that right. Minimize, think about it like this. Remember that whole minimalist movement, where instead of trying to organize all your junk, you just, got rid of it. Poof, gone. Same principle applies here. We're not trying to organize your chaotic to-do list. We're trying to eliminate 99% of the chaos itself. Because the reality is, most of what is on your plate, most of what is screaming for your attention, is just noise. It is the equivalent of death by 1,000 cuts, where each little interruption, each tiny distraction, each insignificant task slowly but surely bleeds your day dry, leaving you with nothing but crumbs and a whole lot of frustration. You know the drill. You wake up, you've got big plans, big dreams, and then, boom, the dog needs walking, the dishwasher needs emptying, the trash needs taking out, a random email from your accountant. Oh, and don't forget to pay that water bill by the time you've tackled all these seemingly small but endlessly multiplying interruptions. The day is gone, vanished, and your big plans are still sitting there, untouched, mocking you. It is a tale as old as time, and one I've personally fallen victim to more times than I'd care to admit. So how do we dodge these 1,000 cuts? How do we reclaim our time and our sanity? Here is tactic number 1. And this one's probably going to ruffle a few feathers. Make it difficult for people to contact you. Yes, I know. But what about networking? What about being accessible? Blah, blah, blah. Listen, if you're serious about actually getting stuff done, you need to put up some serious boundaries. Your phone, that little black rectangle of endless distraction, needs to go airplane mode, silent, locked in a drawer, do whatever you have to do. Because every notification, every buzzing, every little peep is another cut, another tiny piece of your focus, gone forever. I'm not saying become a hermit, but seriously, think about who has direct access to you. I rarely give out my personal phone number, not because I'm some antisocial weirdo, but because once you open that floodgate, everyone, and I mean everyone, suddenly needs a piece of your time. Your phone number on your email signature. Biggest mistake ever. You'll be bombarded with calls, emails, texts, all demanding your immediate attention. And when everyone wants a piece of your pie, it is impossible to bake a whole new one. You have to say no, and you have to say it often. And without apology, your time is your most valuable asset. Treat it like gold, not a freebie dispenser. Alright, moving on. Tactic number 2, and this one. It is so simple, it is almost laughable, but it is a total game changer. Get yourself an egg timer. Yes, an old school $9 egg timer from Amazon. Seriously. Go buy one right now. I'll wait. This isn't rocket science, but it is pure genius. Whenever I have a task that requires deep focus, I set that little timer for 55 minutes, and for those 55 minutes, I am locked in. I am wired in. I am a productivity machine. No distractions. No getting up for a snack. No scrolling through social media. The timer is running, and I am working. And here is the magic. When that timer dings, then I can take a break. 15 minutes. I'll grab some water, stretch, maybe even do a little dance, whatever. But the key is, the break is earned, it is intentional, and it is short. Then, back to the timer for another 55 minutes. This strategy, often called the Pomodoro technique, is unbelievably effective for everything. Studying for exams, writing a paper, building a business. It creates these focused bursts of effort, preventing burnout and keeping you on track. Trust me on this one. That cheap little egg timer will become your most powerful productivity tool. Next up, tactic number 3. And it has got a weird name, but it is a powerful concept. Eat the frog. Now, I have no idea who coined this ridiculous term, but the idea behind it is brilliant. It means tackling your most difficult, most annoying, most dreaded task first thing in the morning before you do anything else. Think about your typical to-do list. What do we all instinctively do? We pick the easiest thing, right? The low-hanging fruit, we knock that off, then the second easiest, then the third. And by the time we get to the really tough stuff, it is already late in the day, our energy is zapped, and we end up pushing it off. Oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. Famous last words, right? I want you to flip that script tomorrow. When you wake up, identify that one task that you absolutely do not want to do, the one that makes your stomach churn, the one you've been procrastinating on for days. That is your frog. And you, my friend, are going to eat it. First thing, get it out of the way, bite the bullet, deal with it. Because once that monster task is conquered, the rest of your day feels like a cakewalk. The momentum you gain from tackling the hardest thing first is incredible. It is like a mental superpower, but you have to be conscious about it. Otherwise, your subconscious will trick you into picking the easy stuff every single time. Tactic number 4, and this was a massive revelation for me, especially when we launched Roadrunner Ventures, our venture fund. Batch your meetings into 1 or 2 days per week. Seriously, take a look at your calendar. If it looks like a checkerboard with meetings scattered throughout the week, an hour here, 30 minutes there, then an hour break, then another meeting, you're effectively screwing yourself. I remember my college schedule used to look like that. You'd have a class, then an hour break, then another class. It was impossible to get into any kind of flow state because you were constantly switching contexts. And those little gaps, they're not long enough to do anything meaningful, but they're long enough to completely derail your focus. So here's the fix for Roadrunner. We now only schedule meetings on Tuesdays, and if we absolutely have to, we'll spill over into Thursdays. That is it. Monday, Wednesday, Friday are completely meeting-free, and let me tell you, it is glorious. It is like going from a chaotic, noisy city street to a peaceful, serene garden. Those meeting-free days are when the real work gets done, when I can actually dive deep, strategize, and create. It was a tough lesson to learn, having a calendar that looked like a war zone for years, but batching is a total game changer for your productivity. Now, those are some of the practical tips. But let's talk about the actual tools I use, and honestly, there are only 2. First up, good old-fashioned pen and paper. Revolutionary, I know. On this pen and paper, I write down 3 primary tasks for the day, and then 3 secondary tasks. That is it. 6 bullet points, no more. The primary tasks, those are your frogs. The most important, most difficult, most annoying things that absolutely have to get done today. The secondary tasks are kind of like bonus rounds. If I crush my primary tasks and still have some juice left in the tank, then I'll move on to the secondary ones. These might be things like file taxes, important, but maybe not world. Ending if it doesn't get done today, the key here, and this is crucial, is not to overload your list. If you have 17 tasks on there, you're just going to stare at it, feel overwhelmed, and probably end up doing nothing. Keep it lean, keep it mean. And my second tool. It is not really a tool in the traditional sense, but more of an extension of my brain. I use something called Notion, and no, they're not sponsoring this. I just genuinely use and love it. Look, our brains are amazing, but they have a storage capacity, and for me, I hit that capacity pretty quickly, especially when I'm juggling multiple ideas, projects, and businesses. It is like trying to keep 100 open tabs in your mind at once. It just crashes. So Notion, or any similar organizational software, becomes my second brain. It is where I dump all my thoughts, ideas, plans, and random insights. It is how I categorize everything. Create Kanban boards for my YouTube channel, tracking videos from idea to notes, to outline to ready to film to done. It is how I manage workflows. Just like Toyota manages their car production lines, it is incredibly effective because it frees up my actual brain to do the thinking and creating, instead of constantly trying to remember a million little details. You need a system, a place to offload all that mental clutter, because relying solely on your memory for everything is a recipe for disaster, or at the very least, a lot of forgotten tasks. And finally, my last little nugget of wisdom for you. Always, always, always. Build in buffer periods into your calendar. Don't schedule every single minute of every single day down to the 15-minute slot, because life, my friends, happens. There will be unexpected calls, sudden emergencies, little fires that need putting out. If your calendar is packed to the brim with no breathing room, then any unexpected hiccup will completely derail your entire day and send your stress levels through the roof. Give yourself some wiggle room, some white space, some time to react and adapt. It is not wasted time, it is strategic time, it is sanity time. Look, the whole reason I focus so much on being productive, on getting things done efficiently, is not because I love working more. It is because I love not working more. It is about earning that free time. That weekend bliss where I can do absolutely nothing without an ounce of guilt if I'm productive all week. I can truly relax on the weekends. I can pursue hobbies, spend time with loved ones, or just stare at a wall guilt-free. That is the ultimate goal. Financial freedom is great, but freedom of time, that is priceless. So there you have it, my super simple, slightly unconventional, but incredibly effective system for staying productive. It all boils down to minimizing distractions, being intentional with your time, and creating a system that supports your focus. It is not about working harder, it is about working smarter, and then going out and living your life, because that is what it is all about. Right, let me know in the comments what your go-to productivity hacks are. I'm always curious to hear what works for you. And hey, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with a friend who is also drowning in their to-do list. Stay boring, stay patient, peace.